Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. I know normally we only do 2 videos a day, but I felt like this one needed a quick revisit to get back to a subject that is fresh in my mind still despite being a couple of days old now. Back on Friday, we checked out V's Friends, and I said I enjoyed the song, had a nice beat and groove to it, very laid back, atmospheric, fantastic production on the music. But I wasn't a big fan of the production on his vocals. I felt that they were just a hair bit overproduced, and I greatly enjoyed his more natural sound that he had on the NPR Tiny Desk concert. And there was an astounding amount of comments. Dude, you gotta go check out his live version of this. And I was like, okay. Let's just pretend we didn't see that. I was like, okay, dude, that sounds great. Because, the NPR thing was live. This is live. That's probably a good sign that I'm going to enjoy this a little bit more than his other one. So here we go. We're going to dive into this, see what's going on with his live version of Friends.
You're in my head. I have plans for the weekend, but want to be you instead. Back here again, got me deep in my feelings, where I should be. You and I go back like all night, it's like forever, and you were
This is interesting to listen to.
keeping me together. Wouldn't it make sense if I was yours and you could call me your baby? But we say each other friends just for now.
I like the way he's playing around with the music visually. Oh, that's got a little bit of that vocal compression put on that. Sounds real good.
But once across the line, no deny, you and I can never turn around, round, round. No, we'll never be the same. You and I go back to like all night, it's like forever. And you were there, my lonely nights, yeah, keeping me too. Wouldn't it make sense if I was yours and you could call me your baby? But we say we're just friends just for now. Yeah, but friends don't say words that make friends feel like more than just friends just for now. Now I'm over pretending, so let's put the end in friends.
Oh, I missed the bells last time. Yeah, speaking about those bells at the end, man, I got so much body in my hair today. So yeah, right there at the very end though, he says, friends don't say things that make friends feel like more than dum bum bum friends, and then he pulls the microphone away, and we have the background vocals finishing the track up, and then somebody just runs their hand. It's probably digital, but somebody runs their hand through a set of chimes, and it just sounds really gorgeous here. It's pushed to the background. It isn't something that's really prominent in the mix, but it's just this really nice glistening effect that's going on, like stars sparkling across this song as it's wrapping up. And I don't know if that appears in the rest of the track as well, but I certainly heard it there, and I think it's a great way to wrap the track up by sort of putting this dash of sparkle at the end of it. Now, the reason I particularly wanted to check this out is for the vocals, and I'm not disappointed. I think the V showcases a bit of his vocals here that sound fantastic. I love his effortless etherealness that he has with his vocals. It's all very quiet. You can hear that there's a ton of gain on his vocals, which I didn't pick this up last time during the music video, which made it sound a bit more of a natural volume. Because here's the thing, right? When we make volume, whether it's quiet or it's loud, it has an energy to it. And we can pick up that energy. We've trained hundreds, thousands, millions of years as we've evolved um, as humans to be able to understand vocals really well and to pick up small things within them. Sometimes we don't even know that we're doing this. We're just subconsciously picking up this information and understanding what people are conveying through tiny flickers of vocal cord vibrations. It's wild. But in the music video, I didn't really get the notion that he was sort of calmly talking at a smaller volume and that it had been amplified in post. That is 100% the idea I get here. I thought he was belting things out in the music video version, the studio version. And I think a lot of that it just has to do with the layering of the vocals and how I mentioned there's a ton of production on the music video one, and it was just removing a lot of this natural information you'd be able to pick up from it. Because I did think it was interesting. I didn't bring this up because I hyperfixated on the production, and I'm going to take an opportunity here to correct that. But when we checked out his Tiny Desk concert, he's a very soft-spoken singer. He had a little bit more projection when he was speaking between songs, but when he sings, it's very subtle, very soft-spoken. He has a very calm, ethereal levity to his vocals when he sings. And yeah, in the music video version, it sounds like he's belting these notes out full volume, full power, and he's not. You know, a lot of that power, a lot of the electricity is coming from the layers going on here, especially the choir that exists on the chorus, which I'm going to get to in a second. It's really nice to be able to hear this very chill, relaxed vocals because I think it amplifies the song's message. And we're going to touch on that again later as well. But it did take me a little bit to come to this conclusion. Off of the first verse, I was like, oh, this is the same overproduced stuff. It's a little bit more restrained, but there's still a ton of production on here. It actually wasn't. I think his vocals are relatively raw. Nobody ever releases raw vocals unless you're some indie rocker who really likes the low fidelity production style and the way that that sounds. Even your vocalists who are phenomenal, your Beyoncé's, your Adele's, you know, whatever, there's still some production tweaks that go on in order to give it a singing sound or a singing quality. We don't typically associate completely raw vocals with singing. And so even in a live setting, even with V's Tiny Desk concert, his microphone was being run through a computer or even just a mixing board, and there were some subtle tweaks done to it just to liven it up, to brighten it up, to fill it out, whatever is necessary. It's all various minor tweaks. These vocalists are like 95, 96% what you hear, but in order to get those last 4 to 5%, that's all done in production. I don't know if a lot of people know that. When I listen to people talk about vocals and vocalists, I get the notion that they think the best vocalists are just 100% pure. And that's not usually true with studio recordings, or even live recordings. If you want raw, you really need to listen to somebody without a microphone. That's the only way to really guarantee it. But yeah, so there's some subtle tweaks on it, but it's very close to just his natural delivery here. But it's kind of overshadowed. I found this to be a bizarre idea. The choir, the layers, the additional vocals are on par or just a little bit more prominent in the mix than his vocals, which makes sense because those are very loud, very vibrant, very projected sounds. And once again, he has this very soft, subtle delivery. It's very calming and inviting. Naturally, the louder sounds should be louder. And so his volume had to be brought up quite a bit, and it was one of the first things I noticed. It was one of the first things I talked about here, is that it sounds like there's been a lot of gain put on his vocals because he's singing very quietly. And so my brain was initially putting these two together. I heard the slightly overproduced choir with the admittedly a hair bit too much autotune. Again, they're vocalists, they're professional choir singers. They can sing well. They don't need the pitch correction probably. But it's there. There is a metallic element to the vocals, and I really thought it was coming from him for like the first verse and chorus. And something clicked on the second chorus, and I was able to distance the vocals from the choir and his vocals and really image them and listen to them differently. And that's when I realized that no, this is actually a really natural vocal delivery for him. It's just packed away under the production. It makes me wonder if the music video isn't the same way. If they didn't take the exact same stems and recordings, they just remixed it so that his vocals were a bit higher in the mix. And that brings up questions about his control over his music, but I suppose that's a conversation for another day because I am woefully uninformed in that area. I just know that a lot of people have said on the BTS and the V and the J-Hope videos that these people all have a ton of control in what they make and how they make it and in everything of that nature. And yet I see something like this that feels like a very arbitrary change. One of the versions is, I think, going to be a superior version for most fans. You're either really going to love the music video version or you're going to like the more natural sound of the live version. But the thing is that neither of them are live. And that brings up a really interesting question. So, we basically have two music videos with two different mixes on it. And that kind of questions authorship and vision and direction, for me, anyways. If this was an actual live take with a live recording, I think that would be one thing. But from my perception, it might be live vocals, but nothing else about this is live. And it's done with so many different shots that there's editing and cutting to the visual component. There's probably editing and cutting to the auditory component. It's not a one take shot, so it's not really live. It's still pre-recorded and edited and mixed later on. So again, it's I don't know. I definitely need some more information about that. But to me it raises questions. Which one of these is the authorial intent and which one is more of a curated one? Or did V have hands in both of them? And he liked both, so he decided to release both. I don't know. I have questions about it, and I really hope that the BTS fans have some answers for me because it doesn't make any sense to me. Coming from a world that is typically more focused on live performance, um, I don't have the correct knowledge or insight to accurately know what's going on with stuff like this. Um, so I was going to bring up the choir. I already did that. I guess I just want to return to lyrics real quick before this video becomes overly long. One of the things that I like to promote on this channel is that everything that I say, every opinion that I have while listening to this music is an introductory opinion. And all of us have run into media before where we've changed our mind on it over time. The first time you might really dislike something, a movie that just doesn't work for you at all, and then you watch it 10 years later and it's one of the best films that you've ever seen. You have no idea what younger you was thinking about. Time and experience changes us. Having the ability to stew with our thoughts about something can change how it is. What I give on this channel is my immediate reaction, which isn't always thought out. Granted, I do think that I have a bit more thought into my reactions than um, some people would after the first time they listen to music. Throwing no shade, but family, friends, oh, that was good. And that's like the end of the conversation. um, but even I have knee jerk reactions to stuff. That's the nature of a reaction. So I've been thinking about these lyrics a bit, and I think I might have been overly harsh on them. I do think there is a clear first level read of toxicity to it, but I do think that there is something a little bit more that can be read into it. Particularly, it could be from the perspective of the narrator. Not so much that they are nagging about starting a relationship or threatening that they'll end it if, they'll end the friendship if they can't have this relationship, but maybe particularly looking at the toxicity in reverse. What if this person feels led on and can't continue this friendship because of that? I suppose that's also a valid read of it. Especially if, see, again, this is a very small slice of this story. It's tough to tell without any additional details, but with the repetition of the phrase, friends don't say things that make them feel like more than friends, or something to that effect, could imply that this has happened often, that he has gotten these mixed signals multiple times and feels like this relationship is something, or this friendship could develop into a larger relationship. And every time that he's pushed for it, the other person shuts it down. No, bro, we're just friends. Stop confusing what I say. And then maybe they'll get a little bit flirty. And it might not even necessarily be this other person. It could just be how our narrator interprets things. I don't really want to lay blame on anybody, but there is a confusion of what this relationship is. And that confusion can certainly cause a schism in their friendship. It can put undue stress on it, and sometimes the best way to go forward from a mental health perspective is to break things off, to end the friendship. It sucks. It does to lose a good friend like that. But I do think I was overly harsh on my read of it last time, looking at it purely from the this dude is toxic angle. So I do think it is a song about a bad friendship, though. Maybe not bad on the surface. Maybe these two people are really great to each other and everything else. But this aspect they're not seeing eye to eye on, and it's causing distress. It is driving a wedge between them. Now, again, I have no idea how any of that fits into the music video. I saw some comments that the music video is about loving yourself first. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good message, but it's not really supported by the lyrical text. So, in that case, it might just be a situation where the music video is parallel to, but not designed to be read as a multimedia experience alongside the music, where they are engaging with similar themes, but not a single whole of art. I don't know. I, I, I want to take this moment, though, just to remind everybody to give art time, to give it chances. Um, and to always come back and reevaluate things. Sometimes you don't always reevaluate it better. There's been music that I used to like, I come back to, I'm like, no, this is not great. Sometimes you just age out of it. It was fine for a teenager, and as you get older, it just doesn't work anymore. Sometimes you begin to see some negativity in it that you didn't the first time around. You realize that a song that seemed innocuous is actually kind of a little icky right now. As you mature in age and understand different things better, hopefully. And so, on this channel, I've come back to stuff that I've been very negative about, giving it second chances. What do I think about it today? What do I think about it now that I have a different set of knowledge and experience? Um, and I wanted to use this as a showcasing of that. I came back to these lyrics, and I have a different opinion of them now than I did. All right, those are my thoughts. Once again, on V's Friends, twice in like 4 days. That's a new record, I think. I don't think I've listened to anything like that before. You know what? We did do the same thing actually. Studio versus live a few months back actually, where we listened to the studio version and then the live version and to compare and contrast. It was actually a blast. I think it was primarily rock and metal though, so I don't know if any K-pop fans would want to go check that theme out. But yeah, it was fun. All right, those are my thoughts. Comments. Give me your ideas, opinions, perspectives on any of this down in the comment section. Above that, in the description box, you'll find a link to Linktree. Take you to this menu. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. Alright, that wraps it up for today, for realsies this time, because I know I said that last video. um, I really appreciate everybody taking the time to guide me through this whole K-pop experience, particularly just with the BTS crew. I don't think we've gone outside of that, but it's certainly an area where I don't have a lot of knowledge, but I'm rapidly learning. Y'all are just fantastic at delivering pages and pages of information. I'm trying my best to incorporate it all and use it to speak about this music in a more accurate representation. All right. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.